I'm shortly going to introduce you to our next speaker. Now, let me tell you a little bit about him. He is not only a speaker, but he was also awarded South Africa's Best Off-Road Biker in 2017. Amongst other shows, he has also been covered on Carte Blanche. Now, if you're South African, you understand what it takes to be covered on Carte Blanche. Doesn't end there. He's also known as a best-selling author. Now, he's not going to be talking to us live, but we are going to be watching a video of Joey Evans that's going to capture his journey and explain a little more about him.
My highlights, I don't know, but I've learned an awful lot about the Dakar. When I came into this as a motorsport guy, I was looking at who was going to win. I was looking at the technical differences between the Toyotas and the Peugeots, and the same on the bikes. When actually, I kind of realised that that's not what the Dakar's about. Yes, if you win, you are at the pinnacle of your discipline. You know, Sam Sunderland, incredible. He is one of the best riders in the world. There's no doubt about that. But there's so much more to the Dakar Rally about than coming here and winning. It's about the spirit of the event, human endeavour, and going and doing something which is seemingly unachievable. And I figured that out last night. And this is the absolute truth. I was walking around the bivouac and I bumped into the team of Joey Evans. Now it's midnight at the final bivouac of the 2017 Dakar Rally, and we're waiting for Joey Evans to return. Now, believe it or not, 3 days ago Joey spent 22 hours on the bike out on the stage. Today his bike got run over by a car and he's repaired it in the stage from another competitor's bike who had retired and is on his way back here, and we're waiting for him. But there's so much more to Joey's story than that.
Well, Joey Evans broke his back in a regional event 9 years ago, and he was a complete paraplegic, and he had made ramps into his house and he was in a wheelchair, and he had some surgery to relieve the pressure off his spinal cord, and he had to learn all over again how to walk. And yeah, he got back on his motorbike again, and he said he's got this dream to come and do this Dakar Rally.
Every rider's got a story. Joey's just sticks out. You can't help to get personally attached to it, you know, and because he's such a people person, such a friendly person, you know, he just attracts everyone to him. And I think Joey's story just shows a whole different side to Dakar.
You know, when you suffer a big injury, you know, like a spinal cord injury, and it's devastating, you know, you lose, you know, when you have those kind of things, often, you know, all your future dreams and all that sort of stuff goes. It's 2 in the morning, eh? When I was lying in the bed in hospital and I thought about, you know, I thought about my Dakar dream, because it was a dream before, and I thought, man, if I could still do that now, how awesome would it be? And so to be here 1 day away, you know, I've got 2 hours sleep to go, and then I'm going to be riding again, and just got to finish this thing off.
Once he crosses the line tomorrow, it will be the best day in his life.
How's it, guys? Often when speaking at corporate events, I'll share my 10-year journey from my spinal cord injury to racing the Dakar Rally, and it normally takes about 60 minutes. But today we only have a few minutes, and so I decided to pick just one principle from my journey that I'd like to talk about. And that principle is fear. We all have many fears, and chances are one of these pictures will hit a nerve with each of you. Some of you may even find one absolutely terrifying. As you know, my goal was to race the Dakar Rally. And when people think about the Dakar Rally, these are some of the images that come to mind. It's a 2-week high-speed off-road race of 9,000 kilometers that happens every January. You can race it in a car or a truck, on a motorbike or on a quad bike, and it's widely considered to be the most grueling and dangerous off-road race in the world. It's a race that's claimed the lives of over 70 people in the last 40 years. Each year, only around half of the starters make it to the finish. For me, I was certainly concerned about those physical dangers, but I'd ridden and raced dirt bikes for many years, so I was familiar with those dangers. So it'd be safe to say that I'd come to terms with those risks and the fears associated with them already. But there was one fear that I really struggled with in the months leading up to the race. It was a very real fear that had me breaking into a cold sweat and lying awake with my mind racing in the middle of the night. And that fear had me second guessing my goal and looking for reasons to quit my goal before I'd even attempted the race. I didn't know at the time that this fear actually has a name, but I've since discovered it's called the fear of failure. What concerned me the most was the fear of not finishing the race. But more specific than that, it was the fear of coming back, having failed to achieve what I set out to do. Now you need to realize to compete in this race on a motorcycle costs well over R1 million. And I didn't have the financial means to cover that myself. So I had to do a massive publicity drive to raise awareness for my goal, combined with lots of social media posts, as well as seeking sponsors and support. I'd done radio and TV interviews, I'd appeared in magazine articles, and my story had gone viral in many off-road racing groups around the world. I'd held auctions and fundraisers, and I even considered blowing up a cash-in-transit van to achieve my goal. But the point is, literally thousands of people knew I was going to race the Dakar and would be specifically watching me and tracking my progress. My fear wasn't for the physical dangers or even the guaranteed pain I knew I would endure on the race. It was the mere thought of not finishing the race and returning home empty-handed that was causing me this very real and paralyzing fear. The fear of failure is not unique to motorsport. All of us can recall times we have felt the specific fear in our lives. It might have been before a big exam, before taking on a career change or a promotion at work, perhaps before having your first child or moving to a new city or country. Maybe it was before starting a fitness goal or before giving an important sales presentation to a key client. All of us have felt that kind of fear and wanted to quit before even starting. It's that moment when you suddenly feel fear at the thought of failing. That's right. You feel fear at the thought of failing. It's ridiculous because it's not the fear of the actual physical real results of failing. It's just the fear of the perceived humiliation or public shame of failing. What would have actually happened if I didn't finish the Dakar? Nothing. I wouldn't have had to pay back any sponsorship money. No one would have beaten up my kids or burnt my house down. Maybe a few guys would have said, I knew he'd never finish, or he was crazy to think he could do that race in the first place. But I was literally losing sleep and panicking over this completely irrational fear. Make no mistake, fear is very real, and it can often protect you from very real danger. But the fear of failure is your friend. The fear of failure is your friend. It's a reminder that you're alive, that you are moving forward, that you're being challenged, that you're about to take on something that will result in serious personal growth. It's something that's pushing you to a new level. It means you're out of your comfort zone, which is where you want to be. You want to be out of that comfort zone. There's no fear in your comfort zone. Nobody would be sitting on the couch watching Netflix with a bag of knickknacks and sticky, cheesy fingers feeling fear. That just doesn't happen. You only feel this when you're outside of that comfort zone. The way I like to view the fear of failure is this. The more a goal scares you, the more epic it will be when you pull it off. My fear leading up to racing the Dakar was very real. But the thought of me riding up that finisher's podium and having that finisher's medal hang around my neck just made me giggle like a little girl. So next time you feel that fear taking up space in your head and telling you to quit, I want you to recognize that what you're feeling is the fear of failure. That feeling is real. Don't fight it. Let it sink in real deep. And then smile. And you embrace that fear like a kid hugs a puppy, because that fear is your friend. People who know me know that I don't swear, but I really feel like I've got to got to say something to you guys today. And that is, go out there and you chase that goal that scares the absolute hibby-jibbies out of you. Thanks, guys.